you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is what
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird, doing another recent release movie review for you guys. This time I'm talking about the straight-to-Max release called Caddo Lake. Caddo Lake? Caddo Lake? Caddo Lake? I think it's Caddo Lake. Anyway, guys, this isn't a horror movie per se, or really kind of at all. It's more thriller, and it's kind of a particular type of thriller that I don't want to say because it would be spoilery. But I will say that I think people that like horror could definitely appreciate this. The things that they do in this movie have been done in horror movies before, and those movies are always very interesting. So I think you might like this one. That's why I wanted to go ahead and review it here. It won't be the longest review, so you don't have to sit through a terribly long diatribe on this one. But I wanted to tell you guys about it because I really enjoyed it. First off, I'm a big fan of the main actor, and I'll tell you why when we get to it. But yeah, Caddo Lake was a really interesting movie, shot at a really cool location that had interesting characters and a good mystery. So overall, I enjoyed this movie. I was excited for it based on the trailers we were seeing. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a creature feature. It's not. Or something else, and it definitely ended up being something else, but something I liked nonetheless. And I think I appreciate when movies like this come along because it's not that usual. And again, when you watch it, you'll know what I mean, and you'll know why I didn't say what, because it would be spoiling it. But there is something interesting going on in this film, and I think it's worth giving a gander just for that alone. So story-wise, it is about a little girl who goes missing on Caddo Lake, which is, I don't know where exactly it's supposed to be, but it looks like Florida's swamp area, because there's trees all throughout the lake and stuff like that. So it's one of those situations, and her family and the authorities are looking for her, but she's pretty much kind of disappeared into thin air, and no one knows what's going on. At the same time, our other lead, played by Dylan O'Brien, is trying to investigate different things because his mother passed away a few years back, and he feels like she was misdiagnosed leading up to her death, and so he's trying to find evidence pointing to that so the right people can be held responsible. And again, it's definitely an interesting setup, but the places it goes you would not be able to guess by the setup or the trailers. And I do think it's, again, very much worth your time to experience this, especially if you're already subscribed to Max, formerly HBO Max, because it's free to you if you're already paying for it. You know what I mean? So it's worth a look. And I really do think that you'll enjoy it if you go in with an open mind. But I wouldn't go in particularly drunk or drug-minded, whatever your drug of choice may be. You have to pay attention to this one a bit. You got to pay attention to follow it. But yeah, I mean, some people can do that while doing those things, and great if you can, wonderful. But yeah, there's more to this than your typical movie, and so you need to pay a bit more attention to it, and it's worth doing so. I would say that the acting itself, I think it was really good across the board. The parents worried about their daughter are really good. The authorities are entertaining and not kind of annoying to watch, like sometimes the policemen and other authorities can be portrayed in certain movies. I feel like the younger actresses did a excellent job. Dylan O'Brien, as I said, I really dig his work. I came to know him as Styles in the Teen Wolf MTV show, and then he, of course, became the Maze Runner lead, and then he did Love and Monsters a couple of years back, which I loved because I'm a big fan of monster movies. And again, that wasn't horror, but that was monsters, and I really appreciated that. So I really like Dylan O'Brien, and so I'm always going to give a chance. In fact, so much so that in my original slasher pitch, when I wrote it a number of years back, I was like, oh, and someone like Dylan O'Brien would be great to play this part. He wouldn't be able to play it now because he was college age at the time, but yeah, he's really, really good, and I appreciate everything that he does, pretty much. He's apparently in the Saturday Night movie. He plays a young Dan Aykroyd, apparently. So there you go, and he's supposed to be really good. He doesn't look like Dan Aykroyd, but apparently he really captures his essence. So I'm excited to watch that, just for that, if nothing else, because I'm a big fan of Dylan O'Brien, and he shows why in this one. He's very talented as an actor. So yeah, that's the acting is good across the board. The filmmaking is really cool. Again, it's a location that we don't often get shown. You know, the swampland. If it's not a horror movie, we're used to them in horror movies because, you know, the Hatchet movies, Rogue, you know, some of the Gator movies are shot in similar locations and stuff. But this does something very interesting, as I keep saying, in that environment. And so I particularly enjoyed it for that. The filmmaking is really cool. It's very well shot. Nothing feels like it, nothing took me out of the movie, you know, and everyone is given a chance to shine in the cinematography they offer. I wouldn't say it's rote, you know, or like unimpressive. It's really good at telling its story, and I didn't particularly notice it in this time like I sometimes do. Sound design and score, very good, very appropriate, leaning into the story and making me, you know, helping you feel some type of way as to what we're seeing on the screen. So yeah, again, I'm not going to make this the longest. The effects, there's not a whole bunch to speak of. When we get them, it's kind of real quick, and it's definitely, you know, digital at times. But you know, for the most part, they work really well for the most part. There's one boat crash that's a little iffy. But, you know, outside of that, everything else works very well. So, yeah, guys, Caddo Lake, again, if you have Max, throw it on. It's good. If you have a spouse or a significant other, you guys like to watch thrillers, and you want something a little bit different in that vein, give it a try. I think it's very much worth your time. So, yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay scared.